Hey everyone, if you came here looking for this week's chapter of Awakening, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm afraid I have some bad news, and I'm gonna make some changes here for the next for the foreseeable future, really. So, as you guys know, the YouTube recording process was kind of a fun idea I experimented with this summer, and it's been very good. I've made some changes based on this step in my revision process. I've gained some new readers. It's been really cool. I've enjoyed it. But what maybe some people don't realize just listening to it is quite a bit of work. I very painstakingly edit the audio that I put out there on the chapters. So I mean, I go through word by word. I edit out every breath. I edit out all the ums and any misspoken words. I change the pausing to make it go a little bit quicker. So I really go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And just the editing process alone on a 20-minute chapter usually takes roughly 2 hours. And that's on top of, you know, recording time. I usually read through it at least twice out loud, and I always revise it before I actually put it on YouTube. And recently I actually added an extra step in the revision process before putting it on YouTube. So, all told, that was becoming quite an undertaking, putting it on YouTube, because uploading it and stuff takes time too, of course, and posting it all over everything. And last weekend, I sat down to do chapter 10, and I started going through my process, and I worked on it, and I didn't get it done in time. Some of you may have noticed I did not post chapter 10 last weekend. So this process was beginning to take so long that it was taking over a full day. It was leaking into a 2-day job of work just to take a chapter and put it onto YouTube the way I would like it to be. And those of you who know me, who know my personality, I'm a type 3 on the Enneagram. I'm very results motivated. I snowball, so when things are going well, I do really well. I can do a lot of stuff. When things aren't going well, I get discouraged easily. My running career has shown that quite a bit. Anyways, I was discouraged last weekend, and what I found this weekend was I said, okay, let's do chapter 10, and I kept putting it off, and I was really unmotivated, and I just didn't want to do it. And this is the first time all summer I didn't want to do it. And something I've realized is between putting the audio on YouTube, which is now like a 2-day job, and the podcast I've been working on, Writing in Progress, which I really enjoy and am really proud of, those two things together have really turned into 3+ days of work a week, which would be fine, except for I'm still finishing the dang book. So the YouTube experiment was good because I really feel very strong about, I feel very good about where my first 2 acts of my story are now. Only about the first act and a half, probably not even that, is on YouTube. And I feel like my plot and my characters and the foundation of my story is set, which obviously that wasn't true before this summer because I've made changes. So some advice I've gotten from a lot of people as they have waited so patiently on me over the last decade is just finish the book, then go back and revise. Stop revising as you go. You're fighting 2 battles at once, and that's why you're not making the kind of progress you want. Just push through to the end, finish it, then go back and revise. And I'm glad I didn't listen to that advice, because I don't think my story would be what it is turning into if I had listened to that advice. But I think for the first time, I should listen to that advice because my foundation is set. I don't need to go back and tweak the beginning anymore. Taking kind of aside, this is turning into a longer video than I intended. I'm sorry. The reason I always wanted to go back and revise is because if you make a change in the beginning of the book, it has ripple effects going throughout the whole story, right? A major change that happened in the last year is, Alice is now pregnant. Every interaction between Blaine and Alice has changed because of that. So that's why I've always gone back and fixed things when they need to be fixed rather than putting off all the revisions till later. But it's time I finish this dang thing. And the YouTube videos were becoming a distraction to that. My progress is slowed on actually writing the book. And this week in particular, I reached kind of a breaking point where I just felt burnt out. And I need to just take a step back for a little bit and focus on writing rather than sharing for a little while. On top of that, the editing audio is the most, and apologies to any sound engineers out there that like this kind of stuff, but it's the most mind-numbingly tedious work I could think of. It's literally just going through and editing out ums and everything else. And between Awakening on YouTube and the podcast, I was spending 4 hours a week doing that, which isn't a lot, but it gets annoying. So I'm going to take a pause from sharing Awakening on YouTube for a little while. How long, I don't know. It may be a couple weeks. I may make some progress on my book and be feeling good about things again and start feeling ready to share. Or it may be longer. It might be when I actually finish. The good news is when I actually finish, I'll have no reason not to dive in, and maybe I start posting them more than once a week, depending what my situation is at the time. If I'm teaching and coaching, that's probably not a realistic goal, but if it happens in July, I might start being able to put out more than 1 chapter a week, which would be pretty exciting, because I think the 1 chapter a week progress has been very slow, and I think it's asking a lot of readers to follow that really slow pace. I shouldn't say readers, I should say listeners, right? So a lot of people have noted that when I've talked to them, it feels like we're further into the book than we are. Yeah, because you're only getting a few pages a week. So you had 9 weeks worth of content, and we were less than 50 pages into the book, right? So anyways, the other thing, if I'm being honest, I was hoping the YouTube project would get a little more eyes on it. It's done okay, but not great. If I'm being honest, I've got a few running videos up there that are, have 1,500, 1,600 views. So I was hoping we could get to the point where, the book chapters would get a few hundred. That was kind of my goal, and hopefully spread that way. And the first chapter had a few hundred. But after that, it's kind of settled around. This is something I would edit out if I was editing, but I'm not editing today. Settled out around 50 views, and I appreciate those 50 viewers a lot. And it's great, but it's just a lot of work for not getting the kind of spread I was hoping, if I'm being perfectly honest. That being said, I do value those of you who are enjoying it, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging. So what I'm going to do is, if you watch this video and you're bummed out and you're like, crap, I was really hoping, I've been enjoying it, I'm bummed that I'm not going to be able to hear what happens in chapter 10. Chapter 11 is a lot of people's favorite chapter. It's when they get hooked, and I feel like there's part of me that's really frustrated with myself that I'm bailing on this right now, because I feel like the good stuff is just about to start. But what you can do, if you like this a lot, is send me an email, justin.krebs@gmail.com, and just say, hey, I've been listening along, I like where it's going, can you send me what you got. And I'll send you all the chapters I'm comfortable sharing right now, which I think is about 25. So not only will you get chapter 10 this week, if you email me, you'll get a whole lot more than that. So that's what I'll say to the people who've been listening and texting me, and I appreciate that so much. And I want to make sure I'm not bailing on you guys and leaving you guys out to dry. So Writing in Progress is going to continue to be on YouTube. I'm not bailing on that. I'm going to keep working on that. I'm still working very hard on Awakening. I'm going to be writing that, and hopefully that means I'll have a finished book for you guys soon. But listening to what my heart is telling me right now, I need to just back off a little bit. I'm trying to do too much, and it's affecting doing what matters, which is finishing the book. The YouTube thing's nice, but finishing the book is the main goal. So I'm going to stop going back and revising and posting to YouTube and just work forward. So sorry, this is longer than I intended. Email me if you'd like the chapters. I'd be happy to share them with you. And hopefully, sooner rather than later, I'll feel recharged and ready to start putting things back on YouTube for you. Otherwise, keep listening to Writing in Progress. John and I have Rick coming on tomorrow, so that'll be fun. But yeah, thanks. And sorry I couldn't keep it going for you guys.